Now you, They heard me say it. I said that. If I was on there, I said that.
Turn around, please. You did not.
Shekinah, you stopped them and I said the same. You asked me, do you think I'm happier? That you asked me the question and I answered it. So why would you sit there and say that?
Because I am happy.
But why would you sit there and say that I ain't say that?
Because you didn't.
I think she's happy. Yes, I did.
It wasn't loud and clear.
Tell me. Yeah? Tell me what's going on right there. What's going on?
Atlanta lit up overnight with a scandal that felt straight out of a blockbuster movie. Only this time, it wasn't a script. It was real, raw, and messy. Clifford T.I. Harris, long crowned the King of the South, suddenly found himself in the middle of a firestorm that threatened to burn down everything he built. It started when leaked documents, medical files, private chats, and even grainy audio clips flooded social media like gasoline hitting open flames. The jaw-dropping twist? The allegations claimed Shekinah Anderson was pregnant, and the rumored father wasn't some random mystery man. No, all fingers pointed straight at T.I. himself. The internet instantly imploded. Hashtags like #ShekinahPregnant, #DNA4T.I, and #Justice4Tiny erupted across Twitter and TikTok. For fans who had defended Tiny through years of messy headlines and whispers, this wasn't just another gossip cycle. It was betrayal in its rawest form. People demanded answers, and fast. Then came the real gut punch, Tiny herself stepping into the spotlight. Tears in her eyes, voice trembling but strong. She faced the cameras and declared, "I want a DNA test. I deserve the truth. My family deserves the truth." That one sentence flipped everything upside down. Suddenly, it wasn't about rumors or fan theories. It was about receipts. Tiny's emotional breakdown, shaking hands, clutching tissues, tears rolling, became the viral image of heartbreak. It struck deep for women everywhere who've ever felt blindsided by someone they trusted. In that moment, Tiny wasn't just a celebrity wife.
Video ain't really the issue. The video being posted up on social media is the issue. If someone would have sent her that video privately, she and I would have had one conversation about it, and it would have been.
She was every woman demanding honesty in a world full of deception. And that's when this story stopped being celebrity drama and became a full-blown cultural reckoning. Tiny wasn't just a reality star or singer anymore. She became the face of every humiliated wife, every broken promise, every home torn apart. The internet couldn't look away, not out of joy for her pain, but because the rawness was magnetic. Then came the receipts that made it impossible to dismiss this as gossip. Shaw's alleged medical report leaked online, and the detail that broke the internet was brutal. The conception date lined up perfectly with T.I.'s stay in an Atlanta hotel. That one sentence confirmed what the whispers had hinted, and the industry froze. This wasn't rumor anymore. This was a trail of proof. Tiny reportedly fainted during a tense family confrontation, while T.I.'s Instagram went completely dark. No captions, no stories, nothing. Silence. But silence, in this case, screamed louder than any denial ever could. The world took it as confirmation. Then a whistleblower came forward with alleged screenshots of Shaw messaging a friend, confessing that if the DNA results went public, T.I. would lose everything. His wife, his career, his empire. That leak turned the scandal into a ticking time bomb. Fans were split. Some called Shaw a manipulator. Others saw her as a victim caught in a deadly triangle. Either way, the Harris empire was falling apart, and no one could stop the collapse. The courtroom became the stage for hip-hop's biggest public betrayal. Paparazzi packed the courthouse steps, protesters waved justice for Tiny signs, and fans filled the streets like it was fight night. Inside, the air was electric. Tiny sat trembling but strong, clutching tissues beside her lawyers. Shaw walked in next, shielded by security, torn between guilt and defiance. Then T.I. entered, the once untouchable king of the South, now hollow-eyed, trapped, and waiting for judgment. When the judge read, Tiny versus Clifford Harris and Shekinah Anderson, DNA and betrayal, the whispers alone rattled the room. This wasn't just drama. It was history being written in heartbreak. The circus reached its peak when the audio evidence played. The grainy recording, allegedly T.I.'s voice, whispered, "Don't worry, Shaw. If this comes out, I'll handle Tiny. Just trust me." The entire gallery gasped. Tiny stood, her body trembling. "You destroyed me. You destroyed our family," she cried before collapsing into her daughter's arms. Cameras flashed like lightning, capturing the fall of a queen who had once ruled beside her king. The image spread like wildfire, the betrayed wife, the broken empire, and the man who shattered it all. Outside, chaos erupted. Protesters screamed justice for Tiny, and DNA doesn't lie, while others turned on Shekinah, chanting snake. Police struggled to control the crowd as emotions exploded. News anchors called it the biggest betrayal in hip-hop history, and TikTok drowned in reaction videos of crying fans. Memes mocked T.I. as a fraud, while others hailed Tiny as a phoenix rising from ashes. Shekinah became the internet's villain and victim all at once, painted as both mastermind and pawn. But the final blow came when the DNA results were revealed. The courtroom fell dead silent as the clerk's hands trembled opening the envelope. And then came the words that detonated like a bomb across the world. Clifford Harris, known publicly as T.I., is the biological father of Shaw Anderson's child, with 99.9% certainty. The crowd gasped. Tiny screamed, collapsing to the floor. "Why, Clifford? Why would you do this to me?" she cried. Cameras captured the moment. The king dethroned, the queen shattered, and a dynasty turned to dust in front of millions. To us. Tiny's voice cracked through the courtroom like thunder, her daughter clutching her hand as both broke down in tears. Shekinah screamed back through sobs, "I never wanted this. He promised me everything," and chaos exploded instantly. Tiny hurled a water bottle toward her, shouting, "You destroyed my life, my children's home. Don't you dare act like a victim." The judge's gavel slammed uselessly against the noise while fans shouted and reporters sprinted for front-row scoops. Within minutes, Twitter was on fire. #DNA bombshell. #Tiny broken. #cancel T.I. The entire world was watching hip-hop's biggest meltdown unfold in real time. News stations ran the story nonstop while late-night hosts turned it into their opening monologues. Commentators called it the biggest fall from grace in rap history. But just when the flames couldn't burn any hotter, a leaked video dropped showing T.I. laughing with his crew before the trial. In the clip, he bragged, "Tiny ain't going nowhere. She can cry, she can sue, but she'll always need me. Shekinah, man, she's just another piece of the puzzle." The arrogance sent fans into rage. Overnight, the king of the South became the villain of the story. His name went from gold to poison, and the internet ripped him apart. Sponsorships were gone before the week ended. His label released a statement that sounded like a breakup letter. "We are reviewing our relationship with Clifford Harris following recent revelations." Endorsements vanished, business partners ghosted him, and even old friends stopped answering calls. Meanwhile, Tiny became the symbol of every woman who'd ever been betrayed and still stood tall. Her emotional public statement shattered hearts across the world. "I never thought my family would end like this. But I will rise, I will fight, and my children will know the truth." Those words crowned her a queen reborn, rising from ashes that once burned her home. Outside her mansion, hundreds of fans showed up holding flowers and signs that read "Queen Tiny" and "DNA doesn't lie." But for Shekinah, it was the opposite. Death threats poured in by the thousands. Protesters camped outside her home, calling her homewrecker and snake. In a tearful Instagram live, she sobbed, "I didn't destroy that family. He did. He told me he loved me. He told me he'd leave Tiny. Now I'm the one paying the price." Her words hit hard but didn't save her image. To the world, she was the other woman who brought down a dynasty. The judgment had already been made. Then came the final strike, the divorce filing. Tiny officially ended her marriage, demanding full custody of her children and half of T's empire. The document described repeated betrayal, public humiliation, and emotional devastation. Cameras captured her walking out of court in dark shades, her children beside her, looking like a woman done with pain. The tabloids exploded with headlines. "Tiny ends it all. DNA bombshell destroys Harris family." By that night, the empire was dust. T.I. sat alone in his mansion, surrounded by silence, while Tiny became the people's champion, the queen who survived the storm. But the aftershocks didn't stop. Rumors claimed T.I. lost over $30 million in contracts, while whispers said Tiny was writing a tell-all memoir to expose everything. Shekinah, unable to bear the hate, allegedly planned to leave Atlanta for good. A dynasty once built on love, music, and power now lay in ruins. T.I., once untouchable, sat alone, His reputation shattered, his empire gone, his kingdom turned to ashes. The streets that once praised his name now whispered about his downfall. And in the end, only one queen stood tall, Tiny, the woman who turned her heartbreak into history. And now I'm the one taking all the hate, Shekinah cried, her voice trembling through another broken live stream. But the public wasn't buying it. To most, she wasn't a victim. She was a spark that burned the Harris Empire to ashes. Whether fair or not didn't matter anymore. Her image was permanently tarnished. Insiders whispered that she planned to leave Atlanta for good, maybe even change her name just to escape the venom that followed her everywhere. In one heartbreaking confession, she admitted, "I can't even walk down the street without someone spitting at me or calling me a monster." And just like that, her story faded, leaving only ruin in its wake. Tiny, on the other hand, was just getting started. The divorce papers were step one. Her next move, a tell-all memoir that had the entire industry shaking. Rumors swirled that the book would expose not only T's affair with Shekinah, but years of infidelities and lies hidden behind closed doors. Fans were hooked before the first chapter even dropped. Talk shows, podcasts, and interviews lined up to give her a platform, and every time she spoke, it went viral. The same woman once mocked for staying silent had become the loudest voice in the room. Tiny had officially turned her pain into power, and the world couldn't look away. Meanwhile, T's downfall was nothing short of catastrophic. Reports claimed he'd lost nearly $30 million in contracts, endorsements, and business deals. His label cut ties, sponsors vanished, and streaming numbers tanked. The internet branded him a narcissist, a manipulator, a fallen king who torched his own legacy. That leaked video of him laughing about Tiny not leaving? It resurfaced again and again, looping endlessly like a confession on repeat. Every time he tried to disappear, a new leak dragged him right back under. His silence, once seen as strategy, now looked like guilt. Alone in his mansion, surrounded by echoes of what used to be, T.I. became a ghost of himself. But this wasn't just one man's scandal. It was a cultural reckoning. Talk shows debated whether this was the biggest betrayal hip-hop had ever seen. Fans argued endlessly about whether Tiny should forgive him or close that chapter forever. Celebrities picked sides, some defending her strength, others staying silent to avoid the fallout. The Harris family, once a symbol of love, hustle, and fame, had become a warning, a reminder that no amount of music, money, or fame can fix what's broken when betrayal lives at the center. Tiny's tears became a rallying cry for women everywhere. Shekinah's fall became a cautionary tale. And T's collapse became proof that ego can destroy even the strongest empires. By the end, Atlanta itself felt different. The same city that once crowned T.I. a king now whispered his name with disgust. His crown was gone, his throne empty, and in its place, ashes. Tiny stood tall, her pain reborn as strength, the tragic queen who refused to crumble. Shekinah vanished into the shadows, haunted by choices she couldn't undo. And T.I.? He sat alone in silence, surrounded by the ghosts of his own making. Those DNA results hadn't just revealed the truth. They'd ripped open a dynasty and burned it to the ground. As cameras lingered on Tiny's Tear Street face one final time, the message was clear. This wasn't just scandal. It was betrayal in its purest form, leaving scars no one would ever heal from. And now, after everything, the question remains, can anything ever rise from these ashes? Or is a Harris legacy gone for good? Because sometimes the truth doesn't just set you free. It burns everything around you until there's nothing left save. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to stay locked in for the next chapter, because trust me, this story's far from over.